Prologue, a war that would not end. For 473 years, two alien empires bled each other across the stars. The Krell Dominion, ruthless and unyielding, clashed endlessly with the Valar Ascendancy, masters of attrition and cunning. Generations lived and died in the shadow of war. Suns burned out while fleets still raged. Entire planets became graveyards, scarred by the endless slaughter. Neither side could win. Neither side could surrender. The galaxy simply grew accustomed to the sound of their war drums, an eternal backdrop of screams, fire, and death. And then humanity entered the story, opening the spark against Earth. The war might have remained locked in stalemate forever, until the Krell made a fatal miscalculation. On the colony world of Ardent Reach, a human envoy arrived to negotiate a neutral trade pact. The humans had no stake in the ancient war, no interest in centuries of alien grudges. They came offering food, medicine, and diplomacy. But the Krell despised weakness. To them, humanity's outreach was nothing more than arrogance, an upstart species daring to speak as equals among elder empires. So they made an example. Before the eyes of billions, they broadcast the execution of the human envoy. His body, broken and displayed against the steel ramparts of Krell Prime's citadel, was sent across the galaxy with a single mocking message. Let this be the fate of humans who believe they matter. Celebration of arrogance. The Krell laughed, the Valar cheered. Even enemies paused their war to mock the delicate Earthborn. For centuries, no outsider had dared interfere. The Krell assumed Earth would cower, retreat, and lick its wounds. They believed humanity would vanish back into its little corner of the Orion Arm, nursing hurt pride but avoiding war. Alien taverns filled with jeering stories. The humans are civilized, too civilized. They'll mourn, but they won't fight. 4 centuries of war, and they lasted 1 day in it. The galaxy mistook silence for submission. The quiet before the response. But silence is deceptive. On Earth, no celebration echoed, only stillness. A collective pause as though the world itself inhaled. The envoy had not been just a man. He had carried with him centuries of diplomacy, fragile hopes of peace, the promise that humanity could stand among the stars without fear. His death was not just murder, it was desecration. Governments said little, the United Terran Fleet said less, the colonies spoke only in whispers. Until one voice cut through. Turning point, the human chosen. Her name was Admiral Seraphine Kale. She was not born when the Krell War began. No human was. But she studied it, understood it, and in the stillness after the envoy's execution, she was given a single order. End it. 5 hours. That was the window Earth's high command gave her. Not 5 days, not 5 years. 5 hours to bring justice, or none would be needed, for Earth itself would burn. She did not hesitate. The silence breaks. It began in the dark void between stars. The Krell were celebrating their victory when the comms erupted with a transmission, a voice so cold it seemed carved from steel. This is Admiral Kale of Earth. The war you have fought for 473 years ends tonight. Moments later, the stars vanished. No, not vanished, blotted out. Human dreadnoughts, carriers, and orbital artillery platforms folded into the system in formations so vast they eclipsed suns. Shields shimmered like auroras. Cannons, each large enough to shatter moons, glowed with restrained fury. The Krell jeered at first, bluff, their children playing with fleets. But when the human armada moved, laughter died. Climax, the 5 hours of retribution. First hour shattering the skis. The first salvo struck Krell Prime's orbital defense grid. Fortresses that had endured centuries of siege crumbled in minutes. Human kinetic strikes tore through shields like glass. Entire fleets, Krell veterans hardened by centuries, were erased before they could fire a shot. The Veiler watched from afar in stunned silence. The war they could never win was unraveling in 60 minutes of human wrath. Second hour, the planet burns. Then came the surface strikes. Humanity did not waste time with sieges or attrition. Precision orbital lances sliced through planetary crust, silencing shipyards, command bunkers, and supply lines. The skis of Krell Prime turned into an artificial dawn, the horizon burning brighter than any sun. Third hour, the stormtroopers descend. Dropships rained like comets. From them emerged soldiers encased in exoframes of iron and plasma, eyes cold, weapons absolute. For the first time in centuries, Krell ground troops broke. They had endured attrition for lifetimes, but against humanity's relentless advance, terror took root. Cities fell in hours. Resistance collapsed. Fourth hour, the silence of the Veiler. The Veiler ascendancy, once the Krell's sworn enemies, moved their fleets to watch, but not to fight. They had waged this war for nearly half a millennium. They had dreamed of victory, and now they realized they were staring at something far beyond victory. What they saw was extermination. Fifth hour, the end of an era. Admiral Kale stood at the heart of the fleet. Her command was surgical, merciless, absolute. By the fifth hour, Krell Prime's banners had fallen, its generals silenced, its fleets vaporized. The war was over, not negotiated, not suspended, not settled. Over. Resolution, aftermath of silence. When the fifth hour ended, silence returned to the galaxy. It was not the silence of peace, not yet. It was the silence of terror. Taverns that once mocked humanity now whispered in dread. Survivors told the story like a curse. 473 years of war. One human ended it in 5 hours. The Veiler sued for peace the next day, not with the Krell but with Earth. Every empire recalculated its strategies. Every admiral revised their doctrines. Every king, every council, every warlord learned the same truth. Humanity's patience was vast, but their vengeance was infinite. Epilogue, the whisper that remains. In the years that followed, children across alien worlds asked their parents why the stars seemed quieter now. And the parents would hush them, speaking softly, as though afraid even to be overheard. Because one day the humans spoke, and the galaxy listened. And in the deep void where Krell Prime once stood proud, there was nothing left but ashes and echoes. Echoes of a single warning that would never be forgotten. Never provoke Earth again.